Welcome to the Big Time Dreams Podcast, where we talk with people who had big dreams and went for it. We hope to inspire you to take action and go for your dreams. You only have one life, so let's do it big time. Here is the most awesomest host ever, sometimes Ben Dow.
Big time dreams, do it for the love and the family. Big time dreams,
Welcome to the Big Time Dreams Podcast. People that really love what they do. What is up, everyone? Ben Dow here. Glad to have you right here on the show. Remember to support us by liking us on Big Time Dreams Podcast Facebook page, share the episode, and of course, sweep my floor. Why are you always telling us what to do? Today we have a terrific show. Jenny Eden Berk is an eating psychology coach. She helps and counsels people on their relationship with food. She's like a food therapist. So how does that pizza make you feel? I never have even heard of something like this. We know people do have problems with food. She is helping her clients by listening to them and coaching them through it. We get into how she started, her journey, how she operates her business, and more. So let's do it. Without further ado, Jenny Eden Berk! Everybody, welcome, Jenny Berk.
Hi, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. So you're on the Big Time Dreams podcast. What's your passion?
I have multi things that I'm passionate about, but the main thing that I am so passionate about is helping women and men heal their relationship with food and with their bodies and sort of creating a paradigm shift about how we nourish ourselves, how to end dieting culture, and how to just truly embrace who we are.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Thanks.
Why that passion, Jenny? Where did that come from of helping people with food?
Well, with many people, it started because I struggled myself with food and with my body image. And, I was a chronic dieter. I had bullied my body every which way to try to get it to be smaller, fitter, stronger, a flatter belly. I did everything that I possibly could. And I still felt like I constantly struggled. And it wasn't until I really created a very powerful paradigm shift around how I viewed myself and healed my own relationship with food that I was like, I've got it. And I have to help other people with this because it's just so powerful. And ever since then, it's been just amazing working with people in this way.
Great. So let's back it up a little bit.
Okay.
Give us a little background about maybe your first jobs out of college, or how long did it take you to get to the path of where you were out on your own?
Oh, it took a maddeningly long time. I graduated from Brandeis in 1995, and then I went to grad school. My first job out of college, though, I was an A&R executive at MCA Universal Records, and it was in my early 20s, and I was signing bands and going to see, music performers all the time, and it was super fun. But also draining. And I just I was passionate about music, but it really didn't feel aligned with me just in terms of how the industry was run. And
right.
I always questioned whether I was really serving people and how I was contributing in a deeper way. And I also dabbled in some other, I worked at New York Magazine, and I had some other jobs, but it wasn't until I went back to grad school for psychology and education that I was I'm meant to help people. I'm meant to counsel people. And I didn't realize it until I went for more training. And it was really the first time that I felt like I have something to contribute here, and I need to get my voice heard. You know what I mean?
So in grad school, to open up your mind, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm going to be in tune with people's psychology and helping them and counsel them.
Yes, exactly. And so, I kind of always knew I didn't want to be somebody who worked I didn't want to be a psychologist per se, and work on very, very trauma issues and things like that. But I didn't know exactly how I wanted to help people. And I realized that after a few years that I was really meant to help people with food and with their their bodies, because this was something that I had struggled with for so long. And I ended up getting a job that I stayed at for 13 years at a national health and weight management company. But the problem with that job, which I actually loved, and I was able to like raise my kids while I was there. And, there was a lot of like family work balance, like very flexible in that regard. But they weren't getting into any of the root causes of why people like overeat or binge eat or anything like that. So what I would see is people losing all this weight and then immediately gaining it back, right? And I would be like, wait, what's wrong here? Like, what I'm supposed to be helping people get healthier, but what I'm seeing is that people are gaining the weight back. So how can I serve people from a deeper place, utilizing my skills and my training? And that's when I realized that I needed to go get my certificate in eating psychology coaching, which is what I did.
Okay. And did you get that through the company that you were at?
No, I actually left my job and I started my business, and I got my certificate during that same time. So it was totally separate.
And that was going to be a food coaching mentor, something like that?
Yeah, it's funny. Like some people call me a food therapist because really, that's what I do. I give therapy about like food, because like a lot of women and a lot of men, I actually have quite a few male clients. They really struggle with what to eat and how many bites and overeating and like, eating on the go. And so many people struggle with food because of our food culture and our food manufacturers that, if we lived 100 years ago, we wouldn't be struggling the same way, because there wasn't McDonald's and there wasn't Cheesecake Factory with huge portions, and we weren't eating like with every social situation.
Right.
So we have like a whole nother lifestyle to navigate in 2018 than we did, in the early 1900s or even, the end of the century. So it's been really interesting to help people navigate this, because, I've worked with like truck drivers, I've worked with stay-at-home moms, I've worked with night nurses, and everybody has a different lifestyle. Everybody has a different like food proclivities. Everybody has different physiology. And it's sort of silly when I hear these diet experts being like, well, this is the diet you need, and this is the cookie cutter thing, and you've got to do paleo, and you've got to eat clean, and creating all these rules, which isn't taking into account people's own individuality with food, right?
Is it usually, if you're working at these odd hours, like a truck driver or a night nurse, there's less options that are easy and convenient, so that's why they just drop by the fast food place that's cheap?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, when I worked with this one driver who literally like he's in his truck hours a day, and you if you're driving on the highway across country, what's available. It's not like there's like green smoothie bars and like there's the fast food places, and they a lot of times they'll forget to eat because they just want to get to their destination, and then they're starving and they may overeat. Same thing with like night nurses, who they work a separate schedule, right? So they're up when most people are asleep, and their whole circadian rhythm is shifted, their hunger hormones are shifted, they're sleeping during the day and up at night, ravenous. So there's special considerations depending on your job, your lifestyle, if you have kids, if you don't, familial history, all different kinds of things. And I'm just sort of fascinated with how people eat. I know that's kind of silly, but I really am fascinated by it. So I love helping people.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely see that the way you explained it. So that's really cool. So how long have you been at your business now?
Right. So I left my job about 3 years ago, and I've in September, it'll be 3 years since I started. So I overlapped a little bit. I started to like dabble in like starting my practice while I was still at my job. And then I was like so reinforced by it. And I had all these like big time dreams. I had all these dreams about what I could do. And I finally, when I entered my 40s, I'm 45 now, I got another level of confidence that I never had before in terms of being able to go out on my own and build my own business. And I realized like how passionate I was about it. And I realized that I was actually really good at marketing and all these things that I was like discovering myself in a way that I never had before. And for me, that was really exciting because I thought I was going to be at this job forever, like I had been there 13 years. So it was really scary, but also a great opportunity to dig deeper, to learn who I am and what my skills are. And can I tell you, like, I did not even know what a PDF file was. I didn't know how to use my website or to publish a blog post. Like I had to learn all of it. And now I'm like coding parts of my website, and I'm like doing all these things that I never thought I would do before. And that's kind of the beauty. And this too, like with this podcast, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur is like, you have to sort of be a generalist. You have to learn everything. You have to be a graphic artist. You have to like be a salesperson. You have to be a you have to market and promote yourself. You have to write ad copy, all kinds of stuff, right?
Right. So you're learning that, and yeah, you're probably more headlong than I am because I just doing the podcast and a little bit of social media, but definitely not where everybody, where I need to be. But the thing is, I'm learning from all you guys because you started with helping people with their food, and then now it's, now you have to be a social media person and all that stuff. So, but at least you could do that. Exactly. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun engaging. I love talking to people. I love learning from people. So it's a really great journey with online and virtual jobs like you do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do virtual, and I also do in person. So I have I have an office near where I live, and I see clients on Thursdays in person, and then during the week I'm doing like group programs that I'm running, or Skype calls. And it's like there's so much expansiveness in it when you're following your dream in this way. There's really, I know it's so cliche, but it's like sky's the limit. Like you could do virtual summits, you can do challenges, you can, check out new social media sites that have just started. Like there's so many opportunities.
When you took the leap and started your own business, did you have some clients already, or did you not have any?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, because I had worked for so long at my old job at my company, I started to develop really, really close relationships with my clients. And many of them actually were there. I was working with them for 10 plus years. So we had developed a very trusting relationship. And when I announced that I was leaving, there were actually 5 clients that came with me to work one-on-one with me, which was so validating because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I started my business with 5 clients, which was amazing. And then it built from there because of word of mouth and testimonials and social proof and all that stuff.
Clients, was that more or around the same as what you were making at your regular job?
Oh, so it took a while to make what I was making at my old job, but it was a really good start. But when I first started, I don't believe that I was charging what I'm worth, So I've over the last year and a half, I've raised my prices, and I'm now making more consummate with my experience and my skills and so forth.
How much is it for your services?
So, and some people may think this is on the low end, but so for one-on-one, it's a $115 a session. I do have some packages that include access to one of my signature courses, and those start at $150 per session.
Cool. No, that's very, very reasonable. Like a therapist may or may not make,
Yeah, exactly.
But for a very important subject, for sure.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to get into your book.
Great.
Can you tell us about your book and how you became a self-published author?
Yeah. Oh, I love this story. I love talking about it because this book was in my head for years. Like I always knew I had a story in me, and I had one excuse after another about why I didn't have time and it wasn't the right time and blah, blah, blah. And also, it's very daunting to think about writing and publishing a book by yourself, right? So I happened upon this woman. Her name is Kathy Wheeler. And she was running a free beta course. And the course was called Write and Publish Your Book in 90 Days. And I was like, heck yeah, sign me up. I want to do it. And she literally handheld me and probably 80 other people through the process of creating an idea, making an outline, doing your research on Amazon, writing the book, and self-publishing on Amazon and Kindle, and all of how to market your book. It was such an amazing experience. And I don't think I could have done it without her help. But I learned all the ins and outs of the publishing world. And she gave us tips and tools on how to position your book to make bestseller and what were some of the best practices.
Okay. So you recommend her course, Kathy Wheeler?
Yeah. Her name is Kathy Wheeler, and her course is called the 90-Day Book. I think that's what it's called. But she was amazing, and she read excerpts of my book and would give me advice and ideas. And she helped us through the finding the best editor for us. And so it was an amazing experience. I found an editor who not only edited my whole book, but she also she created the book cover and all the interior design and photos and so forth. And so it was a very seamless experience for me. And the book itself is called The Body Image Blueprint. And it's about my journey, really. I mean, it's developed into 3 parts. So the first part is about my journey of becoming indoctrinated into dieting culture and all the different crazy things, cabbage soup diets and all these crazy things that I did. And then how I I finally wrestled my way out of that and started to find my own voice. And then the second part, I actually interviewed over 60 different people, men and women, ages 22 to 70, about their own body image journeys and how they felt about their bodies and when they felt the most comfortable in their skin and least comfortable in their skin, etc. And then the last part is like a straight up self-help book where I give 4 different body image healing realms and ways that people can really support a healthy relationship with your body.
How long has that book been out now?
It's going to be a year in like a week.
Okay, and you were able to make it to bestseller?
Yeah, I became on the first. I did like this whole book launch that I created on my own, and it involved like giveaways and like I did a body image roundtable, and I contacted different people, and I had bonuses and all these, like a contest, all these fun things.
Yeah.
And on the first day that I released it, I was watching it like go higher and higher in the Amazon ratings. And by the end of the day, I had hit #1 bestseller for Amazon and international bestseller too. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I think having a book is really cool just because I've always thought about it in the back of my mind, but it seems like a lot of work, but it would brand yourself. It would make you more of an authority. Not everybody has a book, and when you do, you kind of are looked up to a little bit.
Thank you. I mean, I hope so, and I hope and think the content is really good too. Like I was a finalist for this Forward Reviews, and they do all these indie publishers, and they have a contest every year. And I just submitted my book, and I became a finalist in that. So that was really validating too. And you're right, like it's you, it's your voice, it's your way, it's your product. It's like your story. And what do you want to write about?
I've always thought about, I have a real estate background, and so I really am interested in having a book about real estate or business, of all the stuff that I've learned in my background to get me to where I am today.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a lot of them out there, but I have that in my mind too. Like, there's so many books out there about business and real estate and all that, but a part of me just wants to do it for my own self.
Do it. I mean, do it for yourself. And everybody has their own voice, and it's like you have your own slant on how that business works, right? And so people don't, I mean, how many books are there about dieting, about food, about how many cookbooks are there? How many, there's always room for another voice.
That's true. That's very true. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to go in your business itself, the operations. Is there a lot of overhead? Do you do everything from home and Skype digitally on your computer? How many hours a day are you working? That kind of things.
Oh, goodness. So I don't have a lot of overhead. However, I do rent a space for my office once a week. I don't have staff, and I have systems. So like I have an email system provider, and I have, webinar software, and I have editing software and things like that, so that does contribute to some, like it's definitely some overhead in that perspective. But I often try to find like lifetime licenses for things. So it's not like an ongoing payment. And then once I have it, and I can use that platform. And then in terms of hours, like it's kind of never ends in a way, because when you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work, right? So I could just do hours and hours, but I also have a family. I have 3 young daughters who need me. I'm constantly carpooling and taking them places. So I feel like I almost can't quantify the number of hours, because like whenever I'm not with them, I'm working, right? So like sometimes I'll do interviews at night, and sometimes I'll do Facebook Lives, and sometimes I'll have appointments on weekends. But I would say overall it's a good 10 hours or more a day.
Oh, wow. And how many clients, like actual sessions? I know that's a small part of it, but with everything else going on. So how many sessions do you have a day?
A day. Okay. So when I was like about a year after I had started, I really had no idea what my capacity was. And I ended up having 21 sessions a week. I had 21 clients. And
wow.
I can tell you that I was not able to sustain that, because I couldn't really, it's not just the session you have with the client. There's the prep work, following up on the homework and writing session notes and all different things, invoicing and lots of different things. So it's really a lot more hours than just that 1 hour with that client. So I realized pretty early, like I was biting off more than I could chew. And now I would say 10 is like a perfect amount of clients for me. And that's what I have right now. And it's perfect. So that I can really give myself 100% to them, while at the same time, like pursuing all these other interests. It's almost like a hydra. You're as an entrepreneur, like you're doing giveaways and you're doing Facebook Lives, and I have a Facebook group, and I'm doing group programs and masterminds. And so it affords me the ability to pursue other things that I'm really passionate about within my business, but also still serve people one-on-one, which is what I absolutely love to do.
That's what you want to do, right? You don't want to scale it and have other coaches that service more people.
I want to scale it only in the sense that I would like to have, I love doing group programs.
Yep.
So that's really fun for me. And I want to do like retreats or like live events. That would be like a dream of mine that hasn't come to fruition yet. That is sort of like a next step for me. I'd love to do like a big retreat somewhere and just help a bunch of women at the same time, like with eating empowerment and body reverence and just like maybe sip margaritas. I don't know, like somewhere nice.
It sounds great, man. It sounds like an amazing, environment. You're learning, sharing.
Yeah.
That sounds. I can see why you would like that.
Thank you.
What are some of the struggles that you deal with? Being a solo entrepreneur with all these things to juggle. What do you struggle with? I
struggle with productivity and not getting a shiny object syndrome. So like I'm somebody who is very passionate in general, and I'm so excited about everything. I'm like, oh, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and then I'm like, oh, why did I say yes to all of this? Like I can't really do this. But it comes from this really good place of like wanting to serve and wanting to be visible and wanting to lend my voice. And, so for me, it's hard to say no to things, but I've been learning to be more judicious in just the yeses that I give so that it can really drive my business forward and just really examine more closely which are the opportunities that will really support me financially and with visibility and influence, et cetera, and which ones won't, and I've really struggled with that because if someone reaches out to me, I want to always be a yes, because I love connecting with other people and I love supporting other people.
Cool. Okay, well, let's go into our segment called Randomness.
You love that.
This segment is Randomness, where we get to know more about you personally. You will be asked some random questions from the odd mind of Ben.
Would you rather be a frog, cow, or trout?
Ooh, okay.
Frog, cow, or trout?
So I'm a vegetarian, and I would not want to be a cow because I know what they go through. So it's either between trout and frog, and I think I'm going to pick a frog because they're amphibians, so they can be in water and on land, as opposed to the trout who can't really breathe if they're out of the water. And I kind of really like the idea of like jumping really far places. That would be fun. And like hanging out on lily pads and stuff. I'd be into that.
Cool. What is your favorite healthy dessert?
Ooh, favorite healthy dessert, I would say would be like a bowl of blueberries with some homemade whipped cream.
Nice and simple. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
When was the last time, Jenny, you were in an actual bath? Do you take an actual bath? I haven't taken a bath in years.
Well, I love baths. In fact, we have an outdoor hot tub that my husband and I are like, whenever the kids are asleep, we're like, let's go in the hot tub. Let's get some wine. But an actual bathtub, that's a good question. I think it was 3 weeks ago when I was at a hotel overnight in Manhattan and it looked like a really nice tub. And I was like, I'm going in. It's awesome.
Cool. If you had to go to the mall and you had to only go to one store, what store would that be?
Oh, man, these are good. Good. Okay. I think I would go to, at the mall, where do I want to go? The Body Shop. I like the Body Shop. They have,
lotion
you know what
store?
the Body Shop is? Yeah, lotions, and they're all organic, and they don't test on animals, and they have no chemical fragrances, and they have such yummy flavors. So yeah, I'd go there.
Smells good.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there such thing as a healthy pizza?
I think so. I think any food can be healthy. You just have to infuse it with nutrition, right? So let's say you have a pizza. You can make the crust a cauliflower crust. You can make it a whole wheat crust. You can add vegetables to it. You can add, what's it called? Like flax seeds if you want. There's always a way to bring more nutrient density to whatever you're eating.
Nice.
So, yes.
Okay, that's enough for randomness, Jenny. So far, what are you most proud of?
Ooh, within my business, you mean?
Or life?
I'm most proud of raising, growing and raising 3 beautiful, smart, amazing daughters.
Yep.
I'm really proud of them. And, it's so nice to see little versions of you growing up and like how you get to like touch their lives and you get to influence them in a good way and see the kind of people that they become. And it's really, really remarkable. Do you have kids?
I do. Mine are 4 and 6. And I just quit my job last year and there's, one's in preschool, one's in first grade. And I'm just having so much fun being the one that picks them up and takes them, and I spend more time with them now, and it's so rewarding that I get to do it this time, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? And my husband often says he would love to be a stay-at-home dad. there's something really special about, what you're saying, like picking them up and taking them to the playground and like being able to spend a lot more time with them.
Yeah, it's a lot better than being in a cubicle till 6 p.m. You know what I mean? So,
oh, I do.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear, and just being fully transparent here, actually happened this past September, which was losing somebody I love dearly. And so I lost my dad in September, and that had been a fear of mine my entire life, losing him because I was so close, or losing anybody really, but particularly him because I was so close to him. And it was a bit of a shock when it happened and hard to sort of reconcile, but it also taught me that I'm a lot more resilient than I thought I was, and that I could face a fear and still turn out okay and be on the other side of it. And so like it's given me confidence that I can really tackle any hardship or problem that comes my way. So
if people wanted to get a hold of you, Jenny, how do they follow you or get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you. I have a couple ways. One is through a Facebook group that I run called Wellness Warriors, and you can just use the search button to find me and join. Also, you can find me on my website, which is www.jennyeden, as in Garden of Eden, coaching.com. So that's www.jennyedencoaching.com.
Perfect. Last question.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell the people on the Big Time Dreams podcast?
I want to say that if you are passionate about something and you have played small in the past because of fear or faulty beliefs, limiting beliefs, excuses, all these different things, just know that the most growth happens when you feel uncomfortable. And a lot of people will do anything at all costs not to feel uncomfortable, but it's actually where all the magic is. So I would encourage people to get into your uncomfort zone, if you will, and just take one step towards that dream or that goal. And that will help you stay in action and feel really good.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
There she is, Jenny Eden Berk, helping people with their relationship with food. This opened up my mind about food therapy, that it's a thing, people need the help, knowing that like truck drivers, night nurses, and people who work the graveyard shift have it harder when finding healthy things to eat. She feels good about it too because she's helping others and she can do it full time. Remember to check out her book, The Body Image Blueprint. What was your big takeaway from the show? You can email me at bigtimedreamspod@gmail.com. bigtimedreamspod@gmail.com. Or hit us up on Big Time Dreams Podcast Facebook page. Now, it is time for the tip of the week. The tip of the week is... go for it. Just do it. You have a dream, lay out a plan, do it, adjust, think about how you can improve, do that, and keep going. But it starts with just going for it. That's all for now. Until next time, Big Time Dreams!